right, cool. All right, everybody, let's get started. So, hey, this is a class about social media targeting. So we're going to go over what that is and basically show you how we do it in our business. Hopefully add a lot of value to you here. I don't have this big PowerPoint. I'm basically going to be talking on what it is, and then I'm going to show you in real time me doing it and exactly how we do it. Like I stated earlier, and I'm going to state this again, we are going to send you a copy of the recording so you can reference it and things like that, and then we are here to help. So, couple real quick intro items. So my name's Reggie Green, co-owner of Green Home Loans, been in the mortgage business for over 20 years now. And if you're on here, you're probably either a realtor or you're probably a loan officer. So if you're a realtor, what we really focus on in Green Home Loans is three things. First thing, 5-star experience. We systemize every single loan. Just like in a real estate transaction, when you do a loan or a real estate transaction, it's almost always the same unless a problem happens. So we systemize that to provide a 5-star experience every single time. Check us out online. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews, have great loan officers that work here. Number two, we have wholesale rates. It's hard to get totally into that, but I think we can all agree that affordability is a major issue in America, and having better rate pricing helps your clients get more house for their money. And we're simply just better price, especially on FHA and VA loans, than most of the retail lenders that you're going to see out there, actually all the retail lenders. So we have really good rates. And then lastly, we do stuff like this. We try to add value to your business through classes, work with you on your origination strategies, do everything we can to be a great partner. If you're a loan officer, we really focus on providing the best platform for you to scale your business. That's great operations, in-house business development, sales tools, marketing, and a great culture. So again, my name is Reggie Green. I'm going to give it over to Kaylee. Kaylee, what do you do for our office for realtors and loan officers real quick?
Well, you just kind of listed a lot of the stuff that I do, so thanks a lot. But I meet with all of our agent partners and try to understand your origination strategies and what I can do to help you bring in more business. We offer a wide variety of tools depending on how you originate. If you're doing open houses, social media targeting, cold calling, whatever it may be, we have tools that can help you grow your business. We don't want to just simply ask for your business. We want to be a partner with you. So, yeah, let me know if you ever need anything or want to meet, want to chat. That's what I'm here for. And yeah, I'll let Reggie take it away.
Cool. So let's start off with social media targeting. So I know usually when we throw classes, everybody doesn't speak, and I get that. But I'd love if someone would, speak up here. When you think of social media targeting, what does that mean to you? I'm not going to look it up in Webster's dictionary or whatever it's called, but like, can one or two people tell me when they hear social media targeting, what does that mean to you?
Consistent posting,
Okay,
relevant
consistent posting.
information consistently.
Okay, cool. So consistent posting. Anybody else? Thank you for that commentary, because most people will be mute the whole time, so I appreciate that. Anybody else have a commentary on what that means to them?
Yeah, I think that being able to direct it very consistently to the same group or to a segment of a group, you should be able to do that quite extensively with social marketing more than other types of marketing.
Perfect. Thanks so much for the comments, both of you. I really appreciate it. What it means to me is, let's just say part of my business plan is, I was talking to Scott about this earlier today. Let's say my business plan is I want to post on social media, let's just say Facebook and Instagram 5 times a week. Now, when I organically post on social media, there's certain people I want to see that message or that post, but the reality is Facebook and Instagram has a logarithm that they're going to dish up my post to certain people, and it's not always going to be seen by who I want it to be seen by. So if I have a post about working with realtors, it's not like every realtor in Arizona is going to automatically see my post just because that's who I want to see my post. That's not how organic posting works, right? So what social media targeting is to me is I can create groups of people that I specifically want to target with a very specific message. So instead of just organically posting, I'm basically creating a message and basically targeting it to a very specific person or group of people. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So one of the things I want to talk about is, 10, 15 years ago, I don't know exactly when this changed, But when Facebook and Instagram started to allow you to market on their platforms, 10 years ago, what I could do, and I'm just going to do a hypothetical example. Let's say I'm a branch manager, I own a mortgage company, and I wanted to try to put ads out there to loan officers to come work with my company. A long time ago, what I could do is I could say, okay, Facebook, I want to target people that live in Arizona. I only want to target white males from ages 25 to 45 that are a loan officer right now. Like, you used to be able to do something like that. And what happened is they created special categories a number of years ago. And special categories are basically saying, if your ad fits one of these items, we're not going to allow you to filter it to that level because it's considered discriminatory. So for example, with that example I just said, okay, I said white males. Why am I not throwing males to different ethnicities? Okay, why am I not targeting females? What's wrong with males that are 18 to 25? Are they not good enough? Okay, so what they did is they created these special ad categories, and if you fall within these, which almost everybody on here is going to be a real estate agent or a mortgage loan officer, branch manager, most of your advertising is going to fall into this category, if not all of it. So I'm going to go over what those 4 categories are. So number 1 is housing. Okay, so if you are running an ad about housing, you cannot filter it to a high level on various things. Okay. Second thing is financial products or credit. So that's gonna classify all your mortgage ads. If you are running an ad about doing mortgages for people, you cannot filter it to a high level on Facebook and Instagram. Other thing is going to be employment. So I cannot filter it at a high level if I'm trying to put out ads there for employment. And then the other thing is politics. So when you really think about it, you can understand why these provisions were put into place. You cannot discriminate or serve up your ads to just specific type of people if you fit within these categories. Before I move on, is there any questions on that? All right, cool. So what I've started to do over the past, I don't know, I think I've done it for about 5 years now, is I've started to create lists where I basically run ads to specific lists. Okay, so if you're in mortgage and real estate, just going to throw some hypotheticals out there. Let's say you've been a real estate agent for 3 years. Okay, if you've been a real estate agent for 3 years, there's probably a certain amount of people that you've talked to that told you they wanted to buy and sell real estate, but for whatever reason, they didn't do something with you right now.
Yes.
Okay. Probably happens to all, well, definitely happens to all of us. Okay. So let's just say you have those people in a CRM or you have those in an Excel spreadsheet, however you do your databasing. Okay. What you can do is with Facebook and Instagram, you could take that list and run ads specifically to that list. Okay. If you're a real estate team leader and you want to say, you know what, I want to go after real estate agents that are currently closing $2 to $6 million per year, and I want them to be in the Phoenix, Arizona area, you could easily look up that information, get a list of it, and run an ad specifically to those people. I can do the same thing with loan officers. Like, I might want to target loan officers doing 5 to 15 million that are currently licensed in Arizona. That information is available, and I can compile a list and run an ad to that list. So that's really what we're going to talk about, is creating those lists and running ads to those specific lists. So before I move on, any questions on that? Whenever I say any questions, I'm just trying to get a breath because I talk quick. All right, good. Okay, so when we're putting together a list, what we're doing is we're basically creating a list, and Facebook and Instagram can take that information, and they're basically trying to take the information that you're giving to them and connect it with an account on Facebook or Instagram. And how I run my list is I create 4 categories: first name, last name, email, phone number. Okay, and I basically put those all in a CSV and I separate them by columns. So let's just say I have a list of loan officers. There's going to be Bob, Jerry, Sarah, all in one column. The next line is going to be all their last names. Next line, all their emails and all their phone numbers. Okay, there's other things that you can also add into there. You can add in birthday, you can add in address. I just focus on those 4 things, but the more stuff that you can give to them, the more they can try to take this information and try to find if there's a Facebook account or an Instagram account that matches that information. Okay, the reason I don't do addresses is because people move all the time, and then date of birth, simply I don't have everybody's date of birth. Okay, so I just focus on first name, last name, email, and phone number, and I collect those in a CSV. So if you are a realtor or a loan officer that uses CRMs, that's awesome, but you can easily typically export whatever database you have into a CSV, separate it into those columns, and then you could create lists of those. Okay, so that's what we're going to actually show you how to do right now. And I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly how to do this. So give me just a sec while I share my screen. Okay, Kaylee, can you see my Facebook screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what this is when I log into Facebook, this is basically my homepage. So you're going to see, this is like all the stuff that's dished out to me. You're going to see some stories on the top, things like that. Okay, so number one, if you're going to run ads, I don't have time in this class to go over this, but you have to have a business page to run the ad off of, and you have to create an ad account. If you need help with that, you can always reach out to me directly, or to be honest with you, when I put all these things together, I just Googled or YouTubed it. There's a ton of different videos, and it's fairly easy to create a business page as well as an ad account. Okay, so if I'm running an ad or I'm creating an audience, all I do is I open up this left side, and you're going to see something that says Ad Manager. Okay, and I'm going to click on the Ads Manager. Okay, now I have a number of different accounts. If you only have one account, you're just going to have your main account here. But I run ads for multiple people, so I'm just going to go to the main account so I can show you some things. Okay, so when you're in your ad account, there's going to be this little tab over here to the left with like 3 people. And if you go on it, it's going to show you a lot of stuff here. And we're going to show you, before we show you how to run an ad, we're going to show you how to create an audience. Okay, so if I go over here and click audiences, because I've created audiences before, you're going to see certain audiences that I have. So out-of-state branch managers, loan officers, realtors that I'm trying to prospect, loan officers that I'm trying to prospect, whatever it may be. Okay, but if you just are doing this for the first time, you're going to have no audiences here because you've never created one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a test audience so you can see what this looks like. So I hit this button, it says create audience, and I hit custom audience. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it off the customer list, which means I'm going to provide Facebook and Instagram a list. Okay, I'm going to hit next. Okay, Facebook and Instagram is going to basically tell me how I have to upload the list. But basically what you can do is you're going to have like a CSV on the side, which I do, and we're going to upload it, and it's going to basically, I'll show you here in just a second. Okay, so now I'm at the screen where I can either upload a CSV or copy and paste. I have a document to the left of my screen that you probably can't see, so I'm just going to copy and paste it instead of a CSV. It ends up doing the same thing. But I'm going to copy some information, and I'm going to put copy and paste, and I'm going to hit paste. If you were uploading a list, you would just upload it and create your list in there. And then I'm going to name my audience. So this is just going to be test for class, and I'm going to hit next. Okay, now this next part is going to be the mapping section. So what Facebook and Instagram is going to do is they're going to say, okay, you've provided this information. We can kind of tell what these items are, but we need help on these items. So when I uploaded this information, it said, okay, all these things right here, these are emails. We know these are emails. So we're going to classify these as emails. All these things right here, these are phone numbers. But you're going to see right here, there's 2 things that say actions are needed. Okay, so if I go right here, it's going to say Alex, Seth, Oscar, Angela, Richard. Okay, I know that these are first names, but Facebook and Instagram does not know that this is a first name. So I'm just going to click this button to the right of it, and it's going to say, what is this? And I'm just going to go down to first name, and I'm going to click first name. Okay, this I know are last names, so I'm just going to click this, and I'm going to click last name. Now all the 4 categories that I want Facebook and Instagram to have are all mapped out. and I'm going to hit import and create. Okay, and you're going to see my audience right here. It says test for class. So now this is an audience I'm going to reference when I'm running an ad to them. Now, the cool thing about Facebook and Instagram is you can constantly update your audiences. So for example, let's say you're a realtor and you have 300 people in your CRM and you update them. And then a month later, you got 50 more people in your CRM. You export those people. All you got to do is go to your audience section here. You hit edit, add customers. Do the same thing again. You can also subtract customers. If you have a list of people that you no longer want to send ads to, you can upload them and pull them out of your list. So our lists here, they're like a bottle of wine. They're constantly evolving. So we're constantly trying to grow our list based upon people that fit into the factors that we want to market. Okay, so I've created my audience. Now I'm going to show you how to run ads to them. So before I move on, any questions on creating an audience? Like I said, I don't expect anybody to be able to do this while we're on the phone, but we are going to send you the recording so you can reference it and we can help you if you have questions doing it.
Can you manually add names and phone number?
You can copy and paste them, but like
Okay.
you can't just do one at a time. So you're going to want to put it in like an Excel spreadsheet and copy and paste them. And like, because I'm always I add people to these all the time, typically you need a certain amount of them before Facebook will pull them in. So I think it's like 5 or 6. If you're just doing one, it usually doesn't do it. So you wait till you have a certain amount and then you pull it in.
Thank you.
A couple other things, I'm glad you mentioned that. Facebook is always changing their rules, but if you're going to run an ad to a list, typically Facebook needs to match your audience with like 60 or 70 people. So if you're trying to run an ad, like you used to be able to do this, like I could run an ad to one person. Okay, but now they typically require like 60 or 70. So Facebook's not going to be able to match every single person on your list. So usually if you're going to do this method, you're going to need 100 to 200 people to really do this. Okay, great question. I appreciate you bringing that up. Okay.
How often do you post?
So what I do is I run ads every single month. So like it's just in my business plan. So I personally run ads to my past clients. I run ads to realtors I want to work with. I run ads to loan officers I want to recruit. And I run ads to leads. And every single month I create a new ad, or maybe I didn't have time to create a new ad that month. And I just basically extend the current ad. Does that make sense?
Do you target out of state and out of USA separately?
You
Like
have to create your
international?
list. So for example, I target loan officers in a lot of different states, right? As long as they're on my list, they're going to be targeted. So like, for example, if you have a list of prospects that you've spoken with and you have their email and phone number, whether they live in Europe, Australia, or US, as long as Facebook can match them, that's who the ad's going to run to.
But what if you don't have their emails and you want to target them in order to purchase in Arizona?
So that's the hard part. And that's why I was talking about the special ads category. So when you're running Facebook ads, it's very hard to get the filters that you want because it's a housing ad. So if you're running housing ads and let's just say you're looking to try to target people in Toronto that are moving to Arizona, like you will be able to target people in Toronto around a 15-mile radius that might have an interest in real estate. But the reality is a lot of those people are not buying real estate. So you're going to be spending a lot of money on impressions on people that either can't buy or don't want to buy. That's why I like lists, because it's way cheaper, because I'm not sending my ad out to someone that I don't think could fit the criteria that I want to see that. So you can run ads like that, but they typically are a lot more expensive because you're running ads to a lot of people that probably can't buy in Arizona. So for example, you can't filter it by age. So if you're running an ad to Toronto that to people that have an interest in real estate, you're going to be running that to 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. Most of those people aren't going to buy a second home in Arizona. So this is more of a strategy to make it a lot cheaper, but you do have to figure out how to create lists. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I have a question.
Any other questions on that?
So it used to be you could, and I've read stuff, this was, back in probably 2012 through 2015, you could be very specific in your targeting, and that's not really available, or are you suggesting that that's not available just because it's real estate related or politics related or something like that?
If you fit in those special categories, all those filters are changed. What you can do is you can target area, and then you can also typically target interests. So I could target someone in Toronto within a 15-mile radius of a pin that has an interest in Zillow. But the reality is like, I'm going to target a lot of people that probably aren't going to fit who I really want to target. That's why social media ads can get so expensive, because you're targeting this huge group. There's probably a lot of people in Toronto that have an interest in Zillow or real estate that aren't ready to buy. So you can certainly run ads like that. They're just more expensive, and you're basically going to be getting impressions to a lot of people that probably aren't going to buy your product or service. And I'll show
That
you how to
makes
run
sense.
ads like that. It's just they're more expensive. So the reason I focus on ads on lists is because I can run ads to everybody I want. Like my past clients, I have thousands of past clients. I spend like $1.50 a day, and they see me all the time on Facebook and Instagram. The reason I can do that is I'm only targeting the people on that list. Okay, if I'm targeting all of Arizona, like they're not going to see it as much. It's going to be more people, and a lot of the people aren't going to be relevant to what I'm offering. So you can run both types of ads, but I really like lists because it's more targeted and cheaper. Okay, so
I have a
let's
question.
go over. Sorry, go ahead. I think there was a question there.
Yeah, it was nice to see you, Reggie. This is Alan. My
Yeah.
camera don't work. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
So question, I know they changed that. That was really exciting when you could really zero and pick your client, because you know who you work with, and it sucks that they had to go back and say, I mean, you can't even target a neighborhood, right? Because then you're redlining, which is kind of fun, but whatever. They did
Yeah.
what they did. Now the question I get is this. So when we target these ads and it's going to these people, does it only go to that list, or does Facebook go, hey, these people kind of like this, and does it push those out a little bit further than your list?
It only goes to the list. Now you can
Only to
create
the
a
list.
lookalike audience that's kind of has the same characteristics of the list and run ads to that. I don't do that, so I'm not an expert at it, but that's the beauty of the list, is because you're only paying for the people that you want to see it.
Right. And then just the follow-up question, do we get anything back from when they put our list in there, and do we get any indicator that says, hey, Alan, your group looks like they're all into, I don't know, hiking? Do we get any feedback on that? So if we were to go out to, non-target that we can specifically target them on interest based on that group. Do we get any feedback from Facebook or Instagram on that? So we can, if we want to run that alternate ad that's not our list, do we get anything like that back?
No, the best thing you can do, and I'm not super knowledgeable on this subject, but the best thing you can do is you can create lookalike audiences based upon a list that you already have. And what Facebook and Instagram does is try to target people that have similar characteristics to the people that are in your list.
Okay, so we don't know what they are, but we can have Facebook kind of
Correct.
Analyze it for us and do it in the background. We just don't know what that is. Okay.
Correct. So let's just say you have a list of people you're trying to market, like wholesaling or whatever, and you have like 100, 200 people. You could create a lookalike audience, and Facebook's probably going to try to target people in the same age range, maybe in the same neighborhood or area with similar characteristics.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the ad section. Okay, so when you're running an ad, there's three parts. There's the campaign, there's the ad set, and there's the ad. So we're going to go over all three parts, and I'll just show you a quick example, because everything I'm teaching you, I actually implement in my own business. I never teach stuff that I don't know. So you're going to see I'm actually running ads right now. So I have a realtor ad, I have a past client ad, I have loan officer ads right here. So when you run ads, you can see how they're performing. So basically, these are lists of things that I've uploaded to Facebook and Instagram, and this is how much I've spent. And most of my lists have clicks of them to go to a certain website. This is how much how many people have clicked my links since January 1st when I start my ads. This is how much it costs per click. This is how many impressions, things like that. So once you start running ads, you can see all the stats on the ad. And if it's not performing well, you can always try to adjust that. Just FYI. So we are going to go over to this section. This is under, like I said, this is, as you go to this left-hand side, there's this button that's called campaigns. That's basically where you're going to go to start an ad. And you hit this button that says create. Okay, now when you're creating an ad, I always use the buying type auction. I don't have a lot of experience in reservations. So auction, it's basically you're putting money out there to get ad space and there's an auction basis on it. It's kind of confusing, but I always hit auction. Okay, now what Facebook and Instagram is going to tell you is they're basically going to ask you to create an objective of your campaign. Like, what are you trying to do by running this ad? Are you just trying to create awareness? Are you trying to create traffic to a website or to your Facebook Messenger? Do you want them to fill out a lead form? Do you want them to comment on your post? Whatever it is. I personally do everything to traffic because I want people to go to a website that I've created that has capture information. Okay, so for example, let's say I'm targeting loan officers that I want to work at Green Home Loans. I'm going to bring them to a website where they can fill out some information so I can contact them and all about our company. Okay, the other cool thing that Facebook allows you to do, I'm not going to get super into this, but you can create pixels. And pixels is basically a code that you can put on your website, and you can capture people that go on your website and run ads to them that way as well. So I'm sure we've all done this. Maybe you go to Nordstrom and you're looking at, I don't know, a pair of pants. And all of a sudden you go on Facebook and Instagram and every 4 posts is a post about pants. Okay, what's happening there is you went on there, they have a pixel that's basically saying, okay, this person is looking for pants. They're going to start marketing to you, and then other people can start marketing to you based upon you looking for pants as well with this particular company. I'm not going to get crazy into that this time. It's a little bit more high level, but I just focus on lists in our business, and it's enough where I can easily do it every single month and update my list, subtract my list, stuff like that. So I'm going to pick traffic for this one. I'm trying to take my people to a specific website. Traffic can also be used for Messenger. So for example, if you run an ad to potential people in a neighborhood that may want to list their house, what they could do is when they click on the ad, it'll create a messenger to your Facebook Messenger where they can start talking to you on Facebook Messenger. So there's a few different ways to do this. I typically go to websites, but you can see all these and play with it. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue. Okay, I always hit the recommended settings. Okay, so right here on the left, there's 3 components to the ad. Okay, there's going to be campaign, ad set, and the actual creative part of the ad, which is your copy, image, video, stuff like that. Okay, so whenever I'm creating a campaign, the first thing I'm going to do is name it. So I always name my campaigns with the month I'm doing them and who I'm targeting, because then I can easily reference them. Okay, so for example, if I'm doing January lead prospects, okay, I might go January 2025 lead prospects. Okay, now this is the part where the special ad categories are. So if you hit this categorize your ads, excuse me, it's basically going to ask you certain questions, and how you answer those questions, it's going to classify your ad as a special category or not. I know these fairly well, so when I'm running an ad to leads, I know it's a financial product or service, so I'm just going to go down here and click it because I know what it is. Now, let's just say you're a real estate agent running a housing ad and you don't click any of these. And then you can filter a little bit more on the second page, which is the ad set. Like before Facebook runs your ad, they have things or logarithms or whatever it is that's going to review your ad. And I promise you, they're going to be able to tell it's a housing ad. So there's some people that try to not put anything here. They're not going to run your ads. It's going to be not approved, and then you're going to have to go at it eventually anyways. Okay, sometimes they even categorize your ads as things that they're not. I've had that happen a couple times. Okay, so I'm running an ad to mortgage lead prospects, and I'm classifying it as a financial product or service, which is basically an offer of credit. I'm going down here, and I always hit this advanced campaign budget. Okay, and on this section, I'm basically going to give them my daily budget. So for my leads, I have like 60,000 leads. Let's say I decide I want to spend $3 a day. So I'm comfortable spending $90 in, I usually run my ads on a month by month basis. I'm comfortable spending $90 to stay in front of them. Okay, now you could also increase your ads during certain periods of time. Maybe you have an event coming up and you want more money spent at certain intervals of time. You can get crazy into this if you want to, but I just keep it consistent as a daily amount, and then I'm staying in front of a list. Okay, what this A and B test on the bottom here that you see is what you can do is, let's just say you create 2 Facebook ads, and one's a video and one's a picture, and you can actually create an A and B test, and you can basically have Facebook run both ads, and whatever one's performing better, you can click it over to that ad after a certain period of time. I don't mess with this a ton, you know, but this is for like mass advertisers and things like that, but you can also utilize these same things. Okay, so this is the campaign start. So if you notice, I name the campaign, I categorize my ads, and if you hit this advanced budgeting, you can also put your daily budget here. Now I'm going to go to the ad set, which is the next part. Now, what I do is, because I'm only marketing like 4 or 5 lists, and you know, some people that run ads on Facebook have like thousands of people and thousands of different lists they're marketing. I just create a new campaign, ad set, and ad for each one. You can create templates where you always go back to certain ones if you want to. But for me, I just create a new one each time because it's really not that bad. So I basically go and title all my campaign, ad set, and ad the same thing for all 3. So I'm going to call this January 2025 lead prospects, just like I called my campaign. Okay, now here, because I ran it as a traffic ad, it's telling me, where do you want to send this traffic? Like if someone touches the button on your ad, are they going to go to a website? Are they going to go to Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger? Are they going to call your phone number? So you pick how you want to do this. I like going to a website. I find that when you hit call, very few people do it. You know, a lot of people, when they're getting marketed to, they don't want to talk to someone right that second. I don't think it's the most effective way, just an FYI, but you do what you want. Okay, so I'm going to hit website. I just keep the performance goal as maximize number of link clicks. Okay, and as I'm creating my ad, right now it's approximately 10:29 when I logged into Facebook. And when I finish my ad, they take a little while to approve it and then it'll run. So I'm always going to, like, let's say I want my ad to run immediately. Well, I'm not finished with my ad and it's already 10:29. So I'm just going to put 11:29 in here. And I can't stress this enough. Always put an end date to your ad. This happened to me a couple years ago where I was running an ad I forgot about for like 2 or 3 years. So I always run an end date to my ad, so it'll stop if for any reason I forget about it. And then in my business plan, I'm just running new ads every single month. So I always put an end date, and I usually run mine by months. You can decide how you want to run yours, but I'm always going to put an end date at the end of the month. And then in my calendar, I'm looking at my ads and trying to run new ones every month. Okay, so we're gonna show you a few things here, and this is the audience section of the ad set. So if I have audiences right here, all the audiences that I created in that other section are going to pop up right here. Okay, so let's say this is an ad towards realtors. This is my list. I'm just going to click that list. Okay, if I click that list, the only people that are going to see this ad are people on that list. And maybe you have multiple lists. Maybe you're doing the same ad to multiple different lists. You can basically put whatever audiences you want here, you can put. Okay. If you don't have audiences, nothing's going to show up in here because you haven't created an audience. I just want to go over this because people mention this. Let's just say you're running ads and you don't have an audience and you just want to run a regular ad. So there's only so much that you can filter this. So for example, let's say I wanted to try to target people trying to sell their house in Phoenix. Okay, right now the location is United States. So let's say I'm going to try to get that a little closer, and I'm going to put Phoenix. Okay, they're going to put a pin, and then I have to run an ad for 15 miles radius around that pin. This is if I don't have a list. Okay, so we're going off list here for a second. I just want to make that clear. Okay, but let's just say I don't like this area. I want to move to Tolleson or something. You can drop the pin in a new location, but 15 miles is the minimum, and then you can go up to 50. So you can change that right here. Okay, so now I have Phoenix, but now the detailed targeting right here, my options are going to be demographics, interests, and behaviors. So what you're going to find if you mess with this is it's very hard to target what you really want. So I could go into real estate and I could say, maybe you're in the real estate industry, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that show real estate industry that don't work in as a realtor. So if I was running ads to realtors, there's going to be a ton of people in here that aren't realtors. Let's say I'm interest Zillow. Or sorry. Maybe someone has an interest in Zillow, which is telling you that they have been searching for houses. You can click that and you can click, I'm running to people in Phoenix in this 15-mile radius with someone that has an interest in Zillow. Okay, so feel free to run ads like that, but there's only so much you can do. Like you can't do age. Okay, you can't do sex. You can't do a lot of stuff that's really going to be able to categorize your ad down to probably who you want to see it. So lists is a cool way to make this a lot cheaper as long as you have the ability to create lists in your business. Okay, so I'm going to move off this, but that's how you run ads to areas if you do not have a list. I'm just going to put in a test list right here just to create one. And then I'm going to X this out because I don't want this. Okay, so now I'm going back to running the ad specifically to a list that I've already created. I'm going to take out this detailed targeting. Okay, so I'm running an ad to a website from January 8th to January 31st. I'm just running the ad to this list. I don't have to worry about any of this information because it's just going off the people on the list. And then I'm going to hit next, and now I'm going to the actual creative part of my ad. Okay, so like I told you, when I'm running my ad set, and campaign, I just title them all the same things. So I'm going to title this the same thing. Okay, now as I go down, I'm going to see this thing called identity. So, you know, your Facebook business page is connected to your Facebook personal page. So mine's already in here, but the first time you go in here, you can look at any pages that you have as a business, and you're going to attach a page to run the ad to. Now, when I run ads, I run them on Facebook and Instagram. So you can connect your Instagram account right here, and it can run through that account. So all my ads are running on Facebook and Instagram. Let's just say you don't like Instagram and you want to run it on Facebook, you can do that as well, however you want to do it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and it says set up creative. Okay, so with Facebook and Instagram, you either have to have an image or you have to have a video. However you want to do that, I'm just going to do an image ad to show you. So the first thing it's doing here, and this is actually a new feature with Facebook. They used to run this differently. And that's one thing that's somewhat difficult about these classes. Facebook is always changing this stuff. Okay, so at the top of here, it just says your source. And because I'm running it to a website, it's showing this source. Okay, I'm going to change this to, like I said, this is just a hypothetical, but this is our business page, My Green Home Loans. And I'm basically, because I told Facebook I'm going to run it to a particular website, I'm just putting my website here that I'm going to run the ad to. Basically, this is where I want people to go if they interact with my ad and they're interested. Okay, so I'm going to hit next. Okay, and this is primary text, headline, and description. So what this is when you run a Facebook post, typically on a Facebook post, let's say you have a paragraph Facebook post, the first couple lines are going to show on your post, and then you have to open the post to see the whole post if it's a longer post. So the primary text, let's just say I'm going after Phoenix homeowners trying to get them to sell their house. I might say Phoenix homeowners in my first line. Like my first two lines are very important here because this is what's most people are going to see unless they open the whole ad. And obviously this isn't a great ad copy. I'm just making this up. You're going to want to create an ad that gets people interested, looking to sell your home. blah, 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 whatever you want to say here. One thing I always do on my text is I always put all my information. Because if they open the text and they don't want to go to my website and they want to directly call me, I want my information here so they can call me, email me, whatever they want to do. Okay, now sometimes this is like a new thing with Facebook. This used to be slightly different. I always copy my primary text because sometimes when you go through this process, for whatever reason, it erases it on the next page. It's kind of new with Facebook. I've just seen this in the past month. So I might copy the ad. Like, let's just say I spent 30 minutes writing an ad copy and I go to the next page and it's erased. It's actually happened to me. Like, I'm going to be really annoyed. So before you go to the next page, put this on an email or put this somewhere else, just in case something happens, so you don't have to write your whole ad again. Okay, so this is the text of my ad, and your headline is kind of the bottom part of your ad that's going to tell people what you want to do. So apply with Green Home Loans today. Whatever it is, it's kind of like your headline to your newspaper. So apply with Green Home Loans today, and then the button on your ad, do you want them to contact us, donate now, download, get offer, get quote, learn more? There's a lot of different options that you have here. Because mine says apply with Green Home Loans, I'm kind of looking at it and I'm like, what button best reflects what I want them to do? I'm going to hit apply now. Okay, this description is more for like hashtags and stuff. When you're running ads to lists, it doesn't really need to be filled out. So I'm not going to fill that one out, and I'm going to hit next. Okay, now this next part is where you upload your video or your image. Okay, so I'm just going to hit upload. And I'm just going to find an ad. This is actually an ad I'm running right now to our past clients. So I'm just going to pick that one. Okay, so this is the image that I got from my computer. I hit next. And now what it's going to show me is your ad's going to run in different mediums. It's going to run on stories. It's going to run in feeds, different places. And what you want to do is you want to look at your ad and make sure it's showing how you want. Okay, all these are actually showing how I want them to run. But for example, sometimes Facebook doesn't recognize it correctly. So I'm going to show you an example. So let's say I got to this page. You're going to notice that this ad in the middle is cut off right down the middle. So I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, I don't like how that looks because that's not my full ad. So I'm going to hit original, and you can go back and forth. But sometimes it doesn't look correct. So I just change it to what looks correct, which is usually my full ad. Okay, now I'm going to hit next. Okay, now Facebook and Instagram have these things called optimizations. Sometimes they add like music or different features to your ad that they think is going to help it be a better eye catcher, more engaging to your audience. So I always just ask them, all optimizations is what I put. Sometimes like a 3D thing doesn't work, but I just always hit all optimizations and I hit done.
In that previous page, do you need to crop those other two that were showing gray?
I don't crop them because it's either going to cover the full page or it's going to cover a part of the page. And I would rather cover a part of the page and have my full ad than have it cut it in half. Okay, so that's how I run all of them. It looks fine. I see my ads all the time because I actually put myself in my audiences so I can see my ads. So if anything doesn't look right, then I'll see it because it's going to constantly be running ads to me. Okay, so one of the things I just told you, I just went through that 5-part process, and this is, I don't know if it's a bug with Facebook. This has been happening in the past 3 weeks. That primary text that I just wrote out and that headline is now gone. I don't know why it's doing this. It might be a bug, but that's why I told you to save it, because this has been happening recently. So if I just wrote like my masterpiece ad and it deleted, like now you have to write it all again. So I'm not going to write this whole ad out, but you're going to notice like the previews over here. Okay, obviously I'm going back and forth on who I'm running the ads to. I'm just making up stuff in the thing, but you're going to notice, just like a Facebook post, your first 2 lines are the ones that are really going to show, and then people have to see more to show the whole thing. So you really want your first 2 lines to really be like a headline in a newspaper. The first 5 seconds of a radio song, you want to try to pull people in with those first couple lines. Now your headline down here. So for example, if I was trying to get someone to apply on my website, apply with Green Home Loans or whatever I thought was the best thing to like my best like call to action, you're going to see that is what's going to show right here. And then I can also adjust what the button is. So learn more doesn't really go with apply Green Home Loans in my opinion. So there's other options. Apply now seems to fit that one the best. And that's what I'm going to hit. So now it has my details of my ad, which is actually the copy, the headline, and the button. So you play around with this. You can put it on ChatGPT, something. What's the most effective ad to run to this audience? There's a lot of different ways you can do this if you're not super creative. But you basically always want a call to action. You want to tell people, if you're interested, this is what I want you to do. Because if people don't know what to do, then they're just looking at your ad and you're not really getting them to do anything. Okay. Now, maybe that's the purpose of your ad. Maybe your ad is just so they know who you are. It's up to you, but I always want a call to action. So if they engage with me and they're interested in my services, they're going to go to a specific place. Okay. So this is the last part of my ad. So right here, it tells it where it's going to go. You're always going to want to double check this. Make sure if you're sending them to a website that it's the website's correct here. Sometimes when you're sending people to websites, you can also put your phone number on there. So if they do decide they want to call, somewhere on the ad, your phone number will be that they can click and call you. But that's basically the specific. So if I wanted to publish this, I can go down here and publish it. You can also, this is a little bit more in detail for this class, but you can also create a pixel that measures people that are going to your websites and monitor that. So here would be my pixel. And then I hit publish. Now, once you hit publish, Facebook is going to go through a review process. It's usually done within 30 minutes to an hour, and you're going to get an email or something on your Facebook basically saying whether your ad's approved or not. If it's approved, it's going to start running whenever you said it was going to run. If it's not approved, they're going to say there's something wrong with this ad that you have to fix before we can run it. And typically what I see when it's not approved is people have not classified the special housing category or the special category correctly. So if you forget to put that it's a housing ad, like Facebook is going to find it out through the review process and it's not going to run. Okay. So that's how you run an ads. That's how you run audiences. And then, you know, once you run your ad, I'm not going to run that ad because it was just made up, but you can also, you can basically look at your ads and see how they're performing. So just give you an example, like this is a realtor ad I'm running right now. The main characteristics of this ad are here, but I can hit view charts and I can say, hey, what do I want to look at? I have 11 link clicks, 151 per link. This is how much I spent. Maybe I want to look at how many people have seen this or how many impressions have I got? Okay, 2,318 ads have been shown with this particular ad. So you can get really in detail with this if you want. But one of the things I was talking to a loan officer earlier today, one of the reasons I like to run ads is if you consistently run ads to your audience, people will have a social proof. They start to get to know you because they're seeing you all the time. And you can fit, I do organic posts. I post almost every single day on Facebook and Instagram, but I can't be sure that the people are seeing my posts that I want to see them. So this is a way where basically if you're on my list, you're going to see my ad. And depending on how much I spend, you might see my ad every time you go on Facebook. So to me, having your name, your brand, whatever you're selling out there all the time, people are going to start getting to know you. You start becoming a name brand, and it's way easier to convert opportunities because you've built social proof through consistency in your advertisement. So one example I was given earlier today is like Coca-Cola. Like if you go into a grocery store, and you like Coke or you like soda, you're not gonna have a problem buying Coca-Cola because you know the brand. You've seen them advertise your whole life. But if you get like something like Faygo or RC Cola, you might be more hesitant to buy that brand because you don't know it as well. There's not as much social proof. So if you're a realtor and you're constantly running ads to your past clients, your leads and stuff, and they call you, it's almost like you've already done the work to try to convert it. You just don't mess it up when they call you, as long as they're trying to do something, because they see you all the time. So I use this, but I also do regular emails, texts, phone calls, different stuff. So they see me in a lot of different areas. So I've created a brand name with them. And when I have an opportunity to transact with them, I'm way more likely to convert that person. So that's my philosophy on it. That's how you do it. Like I said, there's going to be a recording. Any questions? I try to make this as quick as possible and to the point without a lot of fluff. Any particular questions on this before we let you go?
Hey,
I have a
Reggie.
question.
Hey,
Go
what's
ahead,
going on?
Jasmine.
How are you?
Good. So can you use this basically for like an open house, for example, you have coming up if you have a list of like a neighborhood?
Yeah,
Or
so
do you need to have email addresses too?
the more stuff you have, the more likely it is to get to who you want it to. Okay,
Okay.
because the more information Facebook has. So let's just say you went to your title company and got the 5,000 people around your open house. You could upload first name, last name, address. And if Facebook can get that information and bring it to that person, they will. But it's less likely that the more information that you give it, the more likely it is to work. So you could do it that way by getting lists from title. The other thing that you could do is you could do that pin where you put the pin on your actual address of your house, but you are going to be marking a 15-mile radius around it, because that's the
Right.
least amount they will go.
Okay.
So like you could still use this, like if you were just trying to get your brand out in like Fountain Hills, because you're a Fountain Hills realtor, you could use the pin method to get your name brand out there. It's just more expensive to get the results, and I have a lot of lists in my business. Like realtors, I can look up every realtor in Arizona through software that we purchase. I can look up every loan officer in the country. As long as I have the will to do that, I can take it, and it's just a little bit more targeted, and it's a lot cheaper to get the results I want. But sometimes that's not always possible depending on what you're trying to do. So you might have to do a regular ad. Just remember, whenever you're doing a regular ad, a lot of people are going to see it, and you're going to pay for a lot of impressions on people that, aren't going to buy or sell real estate.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think someone else said something real quick. Yep, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's Mitch. So based on the information or data that you're gleaming from this, the impressions, what are you paying for? So if you put a list of 10,000 people in there and you have $3 a day and it's costing $1.50 per click, is it really only 2 people that are actually being addressed that day, or how does that work? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so the more, like, it's an auction system, so it's not an exact science, but the more money you pay, the more people that are going to be served your ads. And the per click thing is really the power of your call to action in your ad. I might run an ad that a lot of people see, but they never click on because I don't have a good call to action, right? So the impressions is basically what you can control. The per link click is really the quality of your ad and how you're engaging your audience. Okay, so for example, if you had a 10,000 list and you're doing $3 a day, there's not an exact science of how many impressions that are going to get, but if you do $10 a day, more people are going to see that ad. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's hard to give you an exact science, but I mean, you can see these lists right here. So this realtor ad, I don't know how many people I have in this, but I've been running this ad probably since January 3rd. I spent $16.65. 11 people have actually went directly to my website. 584 reach, 2,318 impressions. So, like if I can get 11 realtors to go to my website and that one of those realtors sends me a deal this year, like spending $20 at the end of the day is well worth the $5,000 I make on that transaction. Because our transaction count, we make, a good amount of money per transaction. That's how I look at it. Like I'm okay spending that kind of money because I feel like if I do it consistently, I'm going to get some opportunity that we're going to close.
Mm-hmm. And impressions, do they define exactly what an impression is or what a reach is?
They probably do. I don't focus on it 100%, and I can try to do some research on that, but I just focus a little bit more on the pay per link click, and that's what I'm focused on because those are the people that are actually engaging my ads. And like I said, even if people aren't engaging in your ads, them seeing you over time, I do think provides you opportunities.
Very. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, if you don't feel comfortable, you're shy on Zoom, feel free to call me or email me, and we can help you out on this if you want to take a look at it. We also are going to send you a copy of the recording, so that'll probably be out in the next day or two. Let us know if we can help. Happy to help, and hopefully this added value. I appreciate you spending some time with us today. I'm going to check this chat real quick to make sure there's nothing here. Oh, everything looks good. All right, everybody, have a great Wednesday. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Bye,
see you later.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Reggie.
Thank you.
You.